So today we are going to start with structural organization in animals. In the previous chapters we learned about large variety of organisms. We learned about unicellular, multicellular organisms of animal kingdom. But now in unicellular organisms all functions like this digestion, respiration, reproduction all are done by a single cell. In the complex body of multicellular organisms, some basic functions are carried out by different groups of cells as well as in that is in organized manner. So this group of cells do the functions in organized manner. The body of simple organism like Hydra, if you see, is made up of different types of cells, and the number of cells in each type can be thousands. So in each type of cell can be in thousands when you talk about Hydra. The human body is composed of billions of cells to perform various functions. How do we know? So how do these cells in the body work together? As you have already learned in our earlier classes in multicellular organisms, a group of similar cells along with intercellular substances perform a specific function. Such organization is called a tissue. So you will be surprised to know that all complex animals consist of only four basic types of tissues. Only four basic types of tissues are there. So they are organized tissues are organized in specific proportion and pattern to form an organ like stomach, lung, heart and kidney. When two or more organs perform a common function by their physical or chemical interaction, thus they together form organ system. So when or more organs two or more organs we learnt about that cells, if lot of cells together they join and they form tissue, lot of tissues together join and form organs, lot of organs join together and form organ system. So when two or more organs perform a common function, they are called to be organ system. Example of different organ systems are digestive system, respiratory system. These are some examples. Nervous system. So cells, tissues, organs and organ systems split up the work in a way that exhibit division of labor and contribute to survival of the body as a whole. So organ and organ system. Now let's talk about organ and organ system. The basic tissues that we learned in earlier classes to form organs, which in turn associate to form organ system in multicellular organisms. Such organization is essential for more efficient and better coordinated activities of millions of cells constituting of an organism. Each organ in our body is made up of one or more type of tissues. For example, if you talk about our heart, it consists of all four types of tissues: epithelial, connective, muscular and neural. These are the four types of tissues. We have epithelial tissue, we have connective tissue, we have muscular tissue and we have neural tissue. Epithelial tissue is the outermost layer, connective tissue which joins multiple tissues, muscular, muscles, and we have neural nerves, neurons. So we notice that after some careful study that the complexity of the organ or organ system displays certain discernible trend. So discernible trend is called evolutionary trend. So most of them show evolutionary trend. So in this chapter we'll be learning about anatomy and morphology of a frog. Morphology refers to the study of form or externally visible features that I told you in previous chapter. Then in case of plants or microbes, the term morphology precisely means only this. In case of animals, this refers to the external appearance of organs or parts of the body. The word anatomy conventionally is used to study the morphology of internal organs of animals. So we'll be learning about internal organism. So let's talk about frogs now. In this chapter, mainly we are going to discuss about frog. So frog can live both on land and in fresh water. We know that, right? And it belongs to the class amphibia. Amphibian means they live in both land and water. So in the phylum Chordata they come. The most common species of the frog that are found in India are Rana tigrina. That is the most common species of frog. See biological names how it has to be written: capital R A N A and small t, tigrina. Since I have written in hand, I will underline, but if it is printed, it is written in italics. They do not have constant body temperature, So frogs don't have a constant body temperature like humans. Humans 37 degrees Celsius, right? But in frog it is not constant body temperature. Their body temperature varies with the temperature of the environment. When the environment temperature increases, the frog's body temperature also increases. But when environment temperature decreases, frog body temperature also decreases. So their body temperature changes with the environment. That's why they are called cold blooded. Humans are warm blooded, but when you talk about frogs, they are cold blooded or poikilotherms. That is, their body temperature is changing with the environment. So we have seen such animals. We have noticed that changes in color of the frogs while they are in grasses and on dry land. So on dry land, you have seen they become almost brownish, dry frogs, whereas when they're living on grass, they're green in color. So they have the ability to change color to hide them from their enemies. They can do camouflage. This protective coloration is called mimicry. This protective, to protect them from being eaten by other animals, to protect themselves by hiding, that is called mimicry. You have you know that frogs during the peak summer and winter, they are not seen during that time, right? So frogs are not seen during peak summer and peak winter. During this period, they take shelter in deep burrows. They go into the deep burrows to protect them from extreme heat and cold because they cannot regulate their body temperature. That's obvious, right? So, because of that, they go into deep burrow. That is known as summer sleep. Summer sleep means estivation. When A comes, estivation comes, that is summer. During summer, when some organism is sleeping. Winter sleep is called hibernation. During winter, they keep sleeping, that is called hibernation. So now let's talk about morphology of the frog. If you touch the skin of the frog is smooth and slippery. You cannot hold the frog in the hand because of presence of mucus. Mucus is a secretion which is secreted by the skin, which is maintaining the skin moist. The skin is in moist condition. The color of the dorsal side of the body is generally olive green. It has dark irregular spots that you can see here. It is having dark spots on its body, which is represented by black color, or you can see the ventral side, the skin is uniformly pale yellow. On the bottom, if you see here, this is called ventral side. The top portion is the dorsal. On ventral side, if you see, it's uniformly pale yellow. The frog never drinks water, but it can absorb water through its skin. So the frog will not drink water, rather it absorbs the water through its skin. So the skin is moist. Body of the frog is divisible into head and trunk. So we have a head of the body, we have the body of the frog that is divided into head, and we have the body that is divided into trunk. So it doesn't have a neck and tail. See, it doesn't have any tail behind, or it doesn't have any neck behind, on the top between the head and the trunk. So that is absent. Neck and tail are absent. Above the mouth, a pair of nostrils is present. So above the mouth, if you see, it is having a pair of nostrils. Eyes are bulged and covered by a nictitating membrane that protects them while they are in water. So eyes have nictitating membrane. As you can see, it is having some kind of membrane which is going to protect them from when they are in water. Because they say both on water and land. On either side of the eyes, a membrane, a tympanum ear. So here you have tympanum, which is the ear of the frog, which receives sound signals. The forelimbs and hind limbs help in swimming and walking. So the forelimbs and the hind limb help them in swimming, walking, jumping, that is leaping, and burrowing. The hind limbs end in 5 digits. They are larger and muscular than forelimbs that end in 4 digits. See, the hind limbs have 5 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whereas forelimbs have 1, 2, 3, and one more is that side, 4. So they have 4 digits. Whereas hind limbs have 5 digits. And hind limbs are more muscular. Feet is webbed digits that help in swimming. It is like a web. So frogs exhibit sexual dimorphism. Male frogs can be distinguished by the presence of sound producing vocal sacs. So male and female are different. They have vocal sacs. Sound producing vocal sacs are present in male frogs, and also copulatory pad on the first digit of the forelimbs, which are absent in female frogs. So four digits, they have a copulatory pad on the first digit for copulation. On the first digit, on the first finger of the forelimb, if you see, they have absent in female frogs. Able to understand? So that is the concept here. Now, if you study about the anatomy, the body cavity of the frogs accommodate different organ systems. They have digestive system, circulatory system, respiratory system, nervous system, excretory system, and reproductive system. Just like how we humans have different systems, they have well-developed structures and functions. The digestive system consists of alimentary canal and digestive glands. The alimentary canal is short because frogs are carnivorous, and hence the length of the intestine is reduced. They are carnivores, right? They eat insects, they eat animals, they don't eat vegetarian food, so their digestive system is small. See, their digestive system is short. If you see humans digestive system is very long. We have small intestine which is very long, then it becomes the long intestine, then it goes into the anus, correct? And here we have digestive tract, because humans eat generally vegetarian food. But if you talk about frogs, their digestive system is short because they are carnivorous, and carnivorous animals, they don't have a long digestive tract. The mouth opens into the buccal cavity that leads to the esophagus through pharynx. Esophagus is short tube that opens into the stomach, which in turn continues as the intestine. So esophagus becomes the intestine. See here, from stomach we have esophagus that becomes the intestine, rectum, and finally opens outside to the cochlea. See, the outermost exit is called cochlea. Liver secretes bile that stores in the gallbladder. So liver will secrete bile that goes and store into the gallbladder. See, this is liver. So liver secretes bile juice which goes and stores into the gallbladder, which stores the bile juice. Pancreas, a digestive gland that produces pancreatic juice consisting of digestive enzymes. Food is captured by the bilobed tongue. Digestion of food takes place by the action of HCl and gastric juices, just like in humans, so it is similar from the walls of the stomach. Partially digested food is called chyme. So the food that is not digested, which is partially digested, it is not digested completely before complete digestion, is called chyme. That is passed from the stomach to the first part of the small intestine, that is duodenum. The duodenum receives bile from the gallbladder and pancreatic juices from the pancreas through common bile duct. So from here you can see duodenum receives the bile from the common gallbladder. So this is consisting of our bile juice. So all these things will go and enter into the stomach. Okay, so diagram is not given. Okay, fine. So bile emulsifies as fat. So function of bile is to digest fat, right? And pancreatic juices digest the carbohydrates. So the function of bile is to digest fat, break down fat. Emulsification means break down. Pancreatic juices will digest carbohydrate and protein. So final digestion takes place in the intestine. Digested food is absorbed by numerous finger-like folds in the inner wall of the intestine called villi and microvilli. So it is absorbed by microvilli and villi. Villi are finger-like projections. So in the stomach or in the intestine, if you see, if this is the intestine, in the intestine you have tiny finger-like structures. So when the food is passing through this, the nutrients get absorbed. It will go into the body, into the blood circulation. Waste moves out of the rectum and passes through the cochlea. Frogs respire on the land and the water in the water by numerous methods. So two methods are there. The skin acts as aquatic respiratory organ. Dissolved oxygen in water is exchanged through the skin by diffusion. On land, the buccal cavity, skin and lungs act as respiratory organ. The respiration in the lungs is called pulmonary respiration. The lungs are a pair of elongated pink color sac-like structures that are present on the upper trunk region, thorax. Air enters through the nostrils into the buccal cavity and then goes into the lungs. So during estivation, during that is summer sleep, and during hibernation, that is winter sleep, gaseous exchange takes place through the skin only, because the frogs are in sleep mode. So the gases will exchange from there because they don't have to waste energy, right, in breathing. So they don't eat food, and also from skin it takes place, just like in water. The vascular system of the frog is well developed, closed type. It is closed type of vascular system because they have a heart which is pumping the blood through blood vessels. Frogs have a lymphatic system also. The blood vessels, lymphatic means that is lymph nodes, and that is white blood cells and all. So the lymphatic system consists of lymph channels and lymph nodes that you can see here. Heart is muscular structure. It is situated in the upper part of the body cavity. It has three chambers. It has two arteria and one ventricle. It is covered by a membrane called the pericardium, a triangular structure of sinus venosus. So it has having a triangular structure called sinus venosus, which joins the right atrium. It receives blood through the two major veins called vena cava. The ventricle opens into a sac-like conus anteriosus on the ventral side of the heart. The blood from the heart is carried to all parts of the body by arteries, just like almost it's like humans. The veins collect the blood from different parts of the body to the heart and form the venous system. That is veins, right? So it forms venous system. It collects the blood basically. So it is collecting the blood from different parts of the body and bringing it to the heart. Special venous connection between the liver and the intestine, as well as the kidney and the lower parts of the body, is present in the frog. The former is called the hepatic portal system and the latter is called the renal portal system. Hepatic means between the liver, the blood is going to the liver, whereas for the renal kidneys is called renal porter system. Porter means sending. So the blood is composed of plasma and cells. The blood cells are RBC and erythrocytes, WBC, leukocytes and platelets. Similarly, what is present in humans. RBCs are nucleated and they contain red colored pigment, namely hemoglobin. They have nucleus, okay, RBCs. So some animals, they don't have nucleus in their RBC, but here it is nucleated. The lymph is different from the blood. It lacks few proteins and RBCs. The blood carries nutrients, gases, water to the respective sites of the circulation. The circulation of the blood is achieved by pumping action of the muscular heart. The elimination of nitrogenous waste is carried by a well-developed excretory system. The excretory system consists of a pair of kidneys, ureters, cochlea, and urinary bladder. So these are compact, dark, red bean-like structures situated exteriorly in the posteriorly on the body cavity on both sides of the ventral column, that is kidney, right? Each kidney is composed of several structures of functional units, which is called uriniferous tubules. So in humans it is nephron, but in case of frog it is uriniferous tubules. Same thing, it is also called as nephron in case of frog. So uriniferous tubule means because they produce urine. Two ureters emerge from the kidneys in the male frogs. The ureters act as urinogenital duct which open in the cochlea. In females, ureters oviduct open separately in the cochlea. So in females, ureters and oviduct will open separately in the cochlea. The thin walled urinary bladder is present on the ventral to the rectum, which also opens in the cochlea. The frog produces urea and thus that is called ureotelic animal. So the animals which produce urea are called ureoteric animals. So the excretory wastes are carried by blood into the kidney where they are separated and excreted. The system of control and coordination is highly evolved in the frog. It includes both neural system and endocrine glands which produce hormones. The chemical coordination of various organs of the body is achieved by hormones which are secreted by endocrine gland. They secrete various hormones. The prominent endocrine glands found in the frog are pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid, thalamus, pineal, pancreatic islets, adrenals, gonads. These are different kinds of hormones. The nervous system, so similar in humans also we have same. The nervous system is organized into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. So brain and spinal cord constitute the central nervous system, and peripheral nervous system is the cranial nerves and spinal nerves. And an autonomic nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So autonomic nervous system means the nervous system that is functioning autonomically. So that is called, it consists of sympathetic. So the body shows various reactions, right, to different stimuli and all. So that is done by sympathetic and parasympathetic. So there are 10 pairs of cranial nerves that are arising from the brain. Brain is enclosed in a bony structure called the brain box or cranium, just like how we have the skull. The brain is divided into forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. Forebrain includes olfactory lobes paired with hemispheres and unpaired diencephalon. The midbrain is characterized by the optic lobes. Hindbrain consists of cerebellum and medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata passes out through the foramen magnum and continues into the spinal cord, which is enclosed in the vertebral column. So all these things are there which need to be studied again and again by you and need to be memorized. So people who feel lazy to read the NCRT can just go through this video multiple times. I'm just reading the NCRT here because there are not multiple things that you need to understand. Ultimately these consist of names that you need to memorize, so I cannot help with that much. So better you watch the video again and again and read the NCRT again and again and underline these important words that you are seeing, what all is present in the brain, the names of different parts. So frog has different type of sense organs, that is both namely organs of touch, sensory papillae, which feel touch, taste, taste buds, smell, nasal epithelium, vision, that is eyes, and hearing, tympanum and internal ears. Out of these, eyes and internal ears are well organized structure, and the rest are cellular aggregates. They are just cellular cells around the nerve ending. So those are not very well developed organs. They are just cells which are present at the end of the nerve terminals. Because of that, they can feel the touch and other things. But when you talk about the smell and the ears, that is little when you talk about the eyes and ears, they are well organized structures. So eyes in a frog are a pair of spherical structures situated on the orbit in the skull. These are simple eyes possessing only one unit. External ears are absent in the frogs, only tympanum can be seen externally. So external ear is absent in frog, only the tympanum, only a round kind of structure can be seen externally. The is the organ of hearing as well as balancing, both, just like humans. In humans also, ear helps us to balance. Same way, frogs also have ear, which is helping them to balance. Frogs have well organized male and female reproductive system. Male reproductive organs consist of pair of yellowish ovoid testis. So it is having ovoid testis in the male reproductive part. So you can see this is the male reproductive organ. So it is having testis which is ovoid, right, like oval shape, which are found adhered to the upper part of the kidneys by a double fold peritoneum called mesoarchium. See here, they are attached to the kidney by a double fold mesoarchium. Vasa efferentia are 10 to 12 in number that arise from the testis. They enter the kidneys on the side open to the Biders canal. Finally, it communicates with the urinogenital tract that comes out of the kidney and opens into the cochlea. So, this testis, whatever vasa efferential you studied, that will open into the cochlea, same ending. The cochlea is a small medium chamber that is used to pass fecal matter. So from the place from where they pass the fecal matter, from where they release the waste material, urine and sperms to the exterior, all these are passed from the same chamber. Okay, so they have fecal matter, urine and sperms to the exterior chamber. The female reproductive organ, when you talk about that, it contains a pair of ovaries, just like again in humans. The ovaries are situated near the kidney and there are no functional connection with the kidneys. A pair of oviduct arising from the ovaries open into a cochlea separately. A mature female can lay up to this much ova at a time, 2500 to 3000 ova at once. Fertilization is external and takes place in water. Development involves a larval stage which is called tadpole. So initially there will be like a fish, that is larval stage. and then they become a complete frog. So that initial swimming stage, which is present in only in water, that is called tadpole. Tadpole undergoes metamorphosis to form the adult. So tadpole forms into an adult through the process which is called metamorphosis. That is, their body gets changed completely, right? They lose this tail, they become completely grown up into frog. Frogs are beneficial for mankind because they eat insects and protect the crop. They will eat the insects which may damage our crop, so they help in protecting the crop. Frogs maintain ecological balance because these serve as important link for food chain and food web in the ecosystem. Some countries, the muscular legs of the frog are used as food by man. So this is the chapter, end of the chapter. So hope you understood everything. So cells, tissues, organ systems split up the work in a way that ensures the survival of the body and exhibits division of labor. A cell is defined as group of so tissue is defined as group of cells with intercellular substances performing one or more functions in the body. Intercellular substances means between the cells we have some substances. So epithelia are sheet like tissues that are formed on the body's surface and its cavities, ducts and tubes. So the epithelia are the outermost covering of any internal body parts, outermost body parts. So epithelia have free surface facing the body fluid and outside the environment. The cells are structurally and functionally connected by junctions. The Indian bullfrog, Rana tigris, is common frog that is found in India, covered by skin. Mucus glands are present in the skin by which vascular they are highly vascularized and help in respiration and in water and land. The body is divisible into head and trunk. A muscular tongue of the frog is present, which is bilobed at the tip and is used to capture the prey. Bilobed means it is having two lobes. The tongue will have two lobes at the end. So this is how the tongue will be present, like two lobes, because they help in capturing the prey. Then you have esophagus, stomach, intestine, and rectum. That is called the alimentary canal, which opens into the cochlea. End of that is cochlea. The main digestive glands are liver and pancreas. It can respire in water through skin, and that is by lungs on land. Circulatory system is closed and single circulation. RBCs are nucleated. They have nucleus. Nervous system is originated into central, peripheral, and autonomic nervous system. The organs of urinogenital system are kidneys and urinogenital ducts, which open into the cochlea. The male reproductive organ is a pair of testes. The female reproductive organ is a pair of ovaries. A female lays this much ova at a time. The fertilization, that is 2500 to 3000. The fertilization and development are external. Eggs hatch into tadpole, which because of metamorphosis become frog. So this is the chapter. Thank you very much. Subscribe to the channel and don't miss out the further videos. You can watch the video again and again so that the points go and sit into your head. There was not much to explain in this chapter because these are the things that must be memorized. So that's why I didn't go into much detail in this chapter. But definitely the further chapters are going to be interesting and in depth. So thank you very much.